ready to go. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to another night of Wednesday night OWCP chats
With me.
Chris and Chris. I'm Gini.
I'm kind of a big deal.
We have guests from two different states, and so we won't tell you who one of them is, but Chris's friend, his best friend, his college friend, has been here since last week from Texas, and it's been really fun having him here.
And that's why we missed you last week. We'll blame it on him.
Yeah, and the traffic to Orlando. It took us 4 hours instead of 2. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. And then the next guest, everybody knows who our next guest is. So he's actually going to be here live.
He's sitting right here in front of me.
Right there. And his wife is right there. All right. We're going to get to all the housekeeping and everything at the end. And our guest speaker will come on as soon as we're done with our topic. So tonight's topic that everybody wants to know, because I don't know how many messages I've gotten and all the comments on the post. We're going to be talking about what a CA7 is, how to file a CA7, and what you do with it. So we're going to get
maybe some more stuff too.
Right into it because we want to give our guests enough time to chit chat. So.
Okay, but I am going to say two things before I get started. The number one question that we get is, how do I find a location? So if you're new, I'm the president of Federal Injury Centers. Federal Injury Centers is a place that trains doctors to work with you when you have a work injury. Our specialty is getting claims accepted. So if that sounds good, go to federalinjurycenters.com and go to the locations tab. It's at the top. She gets like 100 calls a day, and 100 calls a day are, how do I find a doctor? federalinjurycenters.com and check the locations tab. So that's how you find a doctor. If you call her, she's going to send you a message that says, if you need a doctor, go to federalinjurycenters.com and check the locations tab. So that's what you do. And then the second thing is I wrote a few books. They're called Breaking OWCP, Volume 1, 2, and 3. You can get it at breakingowcp.com. It's only the most helpful book that is ever written about OWCP, so get it, all three. And I prefer that you get them on PDF and save them to your phone so you can put Breaking OWCP in your pocket. I have like 15 copies of Volume 2 left. Then it will only be PDF. I'll never print it again. Volume 1 is only PDF on purpose because that's where all the rules, laws, and regulations are. And I've got like hundreds of Volume 3 because it's newer. So if you want it, you can have it in paperback, but I prefer everyone to get it on PDF.
Yes. And so one last thing, we're going to go ahead and start. And I know Chris talks super fast. And I told him to speak about the CA7 in 4th grade language and slow down. So if you guys have questions, hold the questions till he's done. And don't forget, we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok, and a couple pages on Facebook. And then don't forget to share, because this is a very, very important topic. If
you're not sharing, you're making a mistake, because your friends are going to be one day mad at you because they'll wish they would have noticed then.
All right, CA7s, get your pen and paper and let's get started. Again, hold your questions about anything about the CA7. And then some of our doctors are on here. They'll be coming on and off. You're welcome to say hi.
You'll see like Tim's on here. He's giving you his phone number. They have a new office coming up in Virginia. Dr. Dorkman's here. So go ahead and take a look at that. If you want to know more about them, they're going to post their phone number. You can call them directly, just like you can if you go to the locations tab. You just call them directly. It's pretty simple. Okay, so we had an issue come up actually a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to teach about this last week, but time didn't allow it. Where now you have to fill out your CA7s on e-comp. Back in the old days, it was paper, like what I'm holding in my hand. Okay, but they don't do that anymore. So a CA7 is called a claim for compensation. It's how you get paid when you don't have COP. And instead of having to use your sick and annual leave, but your case has to be accepted. Okay, so once your case is accepted, you can get paid using a CA7. Well, now you have to go to your eComp account to file your CA7s, which is cool because there's instant tracking of it, and so that's good. And it's just basically this form online. But we started hearing people, like a lot of people just out of the blue, and then Eric Blowers called us and said, there's an issue, you might want to talk about it. That the second page of the CA7, and I'm going to show it to you. If you're not gonna be able to see it, but whatever, just trust me, that's page 2. And that's for the supervisor to fill out, okay? Or somebody in charge, right? Well, in section 8, they have to put your base pay rate. And Eric was saying, and then we had a bunch of people come in and say the same thing to us, that the supervisors are not writing in a lot of cases, your pay. So guess what happens when the supervisor doesn't do their job right? You don't get paid. And, you're waiting on a paycheck, but instead you get nothing. So you need to go into your eComp account and make sure it's filled in right. And if it's not, go to your supervisor and tell them, hey, you messed up, fix it. If, this keeps happening, go to a union rep and file a grievance, right? Do what it takes. Take responsibility for this because it's your money. And, look, first of all, you can be mad when somebody doesn't do the job right. But when you know the job didn't get done right, that's when you got to do something about it, take action. So be aware that Section 8, if your supervisors don't put in your pay rate, you're not getting paid. The form's got to be filled out perfectly. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight. I highlighted some things on the form, some high points that I want to just go over with you. And I know I'm already talking too fast, so I'm going to slow down. All right. So first of all, Section 2, you're doing leave without pay. Okay, this is all. Gene's over here playing with the cameras. That's distracting.
Just go ahead.
Okay, leave without pay. When it's not intermittent, you just fill the form out and just put the dates in. But if there's some time you're at work and some time you're not at work, you need a CA7A. But I'm not talking about that tonight. You can read the form and it'll tell you if intermittent complete form CA7A. But Section 5 says list your dependents, including your spouse. So anybody that you're responsible for, and in the rules it says on dependents, it says your spouse is a dependent if he or she is living with you. A child is a dependent if he or she either lives with you or receives support payments from you, and he or she is A, under the age 18, or 2, between 18 and 23 and a full-time student, or incapable of self-support. So that's what a dependent is by the definition here. So you list your dependents because that determines your pay rate, whether it's 66 2/3 or 75%. And don't get this wrong, because trust me, you'll get a demand letter and they'll want your money back. It's their money.
I'm looking at your shirt.
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of a big deal.
That's what Victor said.
Yeah. This little thing says Ron Burgundy. So if you don't know what Anchorman is, I don't even know if we can be friends. You should all go watch that movie tonight so we can stay friends. Okay. So be sure you list your dependents properly and know what a dependent is. And the cool thing is the third page of the CA7 is instructions. I'm going to need it. I'll give it to you in a second. It's instructions. And so if you're not sure what things are, they actually define this stuff on here. It's pretty helpful. I'm going to read some things off the instructions in a minute. And then Section 6 is interesting. I've been doing this forever, but I never really paid attention to the form because I can't fill it out or sign it. You have to. But today I'm reading, I'm like, wow, Section 6, was or will there be a claim made against a third party, yes or no? So I think that's cool. If there's a third party thing, they're going to offset with the third party insurance carrier if you got in a car wreck. And again, remember, if you get in a car wreck on the job, don't call a PI lawyer because it's just going to hose you. You let her know and she'll get you connected with Eric Blowers, and then life will be good for you. So keep that in mind. Section 6 is that. But then you get all the way to Section 8. Section 7, you're signing. Okay, so sign it.
Let me show that first one.
All right, so there's the first page.
But don't forget, CA7, you can't file these until your claim is accepted.
Right.
Don't forget that.
And we have a video on federalinjurycenters.com. There's a video tab, and you can go through. My partner, Tom,
You went through it by detail.
went every box on the CA7 to show you what to do. So go take a look at that. Although as I go through this, it's easy. So you probably know who your dependents are. You probably know if you're in a car wreck. You know you won't leave without pay. I bet you all know your name and your address and your date of injury. So you know the stuff you need to know. So that's going to be easy. But the second page of this thing is for the supervisor. And you all know what I say about them. They're either dumb or they're playing dumb. We're just going to assume, for the sake of argument, that they're just dumb. And so what happens in Section 8, it says base pay, and it's dollars per week, pay period, month, whatever. They have to put it in. And then the date the employee stopped work and what was their pay rate at that point. Because when you stop work, your pay rate is frozen in time. And so you come back to work, and I think it's like 6 months and you're back full duty. So you're going to be stuck at your injury pay rate. So they're going to list that there. But then there's like additional pay. Well, what in the world is additional pay? That's what I asked. And so here it is. Additional pay. This is really interesting. So I think I'm the only one interested because it's kind of a boring topic. Okay, additional pay includes night differential, Sunday premium, holiday premium, and any other type such as hazardous duty or dirty work pay. You guys have dirty work pay? Regularly received by the employee, but does not include pay for overtime. So overtime's not included. We get that question all the time. But, I'm scheduled for 48 hours a week. And they're only paying me for 40. Well, here it is in the instructions. Overtime is not included in additional pay. If the amount of such pay varies from pay period to pay period, as in the case of holiday premium or rotating shift, then the total amount of such pay earned during the year immediately prior to the date of injury or the date the employee stopped work should be reported, whichever is greater. So they're going to pick the greater of those two. So additional pay, remember that, because when your supervisor is filling out your pay rate, if you're getting additional pay, make sure that's in there. All right. If any of that applies to you, make sure it's there, because this is your money. Don't leave it on the table just because you got hurt. And then I'm going to just drop down to section 15, because this is my favorite part of the entire form. I haven't told this to her yet. She hasn't even seen it. Section 15. And this is where your supervisor has to sign it. It says an employing agency official, supervisor, who knowingly certifies to any false statement, misrepresentation, or concealment of fact with respect to this claim or impedes the filing of a claim may also be subject to appropriate criminal prosecution. How good does that sound? So if they purposefully screw you over on your pay, they can go to jail. They can be fined. So I recommend, like, if you see blatant errors on here that have to be lies, I would just go to them and print this out and show them what section 15 says.
Yeah.
And ask them if they'd like to, make a change to the form.
Highlight it.
And then below this, it says date claim form received from employee. So the date the supervisor got this from you, there is a date that eComp emails it to them now. Okay. And so it wants to know the date that they received this. And guess why? Because by rule, they have 5 days from that receipt to turn this into Department of Labor. And so they've got to complete this page. And it's 1 page. Okay. I know they're dumb, but it's 1 page and it's all written in English. So as long as they can read English, they're going to be okay. So they fill this one thing out and they submit it, and they have 5 days. And the reason they do this is because it's about pay. The government knows you got to be able to, pay your bills. So they can't hold on to this. If they hold on to it, file a grievance. Bottom line, don't let them do it. We're going to need hundreds of thousands of people filing grievances for this, and for like CA-16s that aren't received. You all need to be filing grievances. That's the way to make a change, in my opinion. If I could file a grievance for you, I would do it. So I've highlighted some things on the instructions, and so I like to read these. Normally I won't do that. I won't just read from it, because I know you can too. But to me, it was significant. So number 1, if additional space is needed to respond to questions on this form, attach a separate sheet of paper and write on that paper, see attachment. And write see attachment. Okay, so if you need more room to write, it's okay to do. We get all the time, there's not very much room for me to write on this. What do I do? Well, they tell you right here it's okay to have an attachment, so that's important. Make sure that your full name and your claim number is on every piece of paper. If the employee does not qualify for COP for 45 days, this form should be completed and filed with OWCP as soon as pay stops. So I think that's interesting, because your pay can stop, your claim's not accepted, you're not getting paid. So just start filling this stuff out right away. When you turn it in, they're going to deny it because your claim's not approved. But as soon as your claim gets approved, you'll be able to resubmit it and get paid. If the employee is receiving continuation of pay and will continue to be disabled after 45 days, the form should be filed with OWCP 5 working days prior to the end of COP. So when you're coming up on the last 5 days of COP, they want you to start filling out a CA-7 right there. And again, this is on the instructions. If you don't remember this, or if I talk too fast, you can just go read it. And anybody that would like to have a hard copy of it, go to federalinjurycenters.com. I'm pointing over my shoulder because the logo's there. federalinjurycenters.com, and go to the OWCP Forms tab, and you can find, just like I did, I printed this off my website. You can find a CA-7 and read this stuff. So do that for yourself if you need more time with the documents so you can understand it better. I highlighted also under the notice, it says employee and supervisor. Employee complete sections 1 through 7, whatever, that's the first page. But here's what it says on supervisor. It says supervisor or appropriate official in the employing agency. Complete sections 8 through 15 as directed and promptly forward the form to OWCP. That's a mistake. They should have said and forward it to OWCP within 5 days. They should have just put the rule there, but that's the deal, okay? Victor said Keanu Reeves poster next to Chris. No, that's Steve Jobs. I love Keanu Reeves, but that's Steve Jobs. He changed the world. like we're trying to do here. All right, so down, I'm going to show you just a couple of things. This is the instruction sheet, okay? You see I have my notes on it. It says 3. So number 3 on here says, section 3 is employment. An employee who either claims or is receiving compensation for partial or total disability must advise OWCP immediately of any return to work. So if you're at work, you got to let them know because they're going to adjust your pay. And you can't hide it. Okay, if they find out, they're going to come and get their money back. An employee must report, and it's highlighted or it's bold. An employee must report all outside employment, including any concurrent dissimilar employment held at the time of injury. So like if you go get a job as a Walmart greeter, you got to report it. The employee must report even those earnings which do not seem like to affect benefits. Failure to report earnings may result in forfeiture of all benefits. So all your earnings that you make outside of, your job with the federal agency, you got to report it. That's very, very important. So in that section, it's section 3. If you need more space, get more space, report it all. And then direct deposit. So the money is going to be direct deposited into your account. And you have to fill out, you can find this form on my website as well, SF 1199A direct deposit form. So be sure you have that. They need it on file so you get paid. Now, if you like to jump through hoops and not get paid on time, don't do that form. And I guarantee you'll be satisfied because they won't pay you. So get the SF 1199A direct deposit form and make sure they have that on file, okay? So you can get paid. 6A says, was or will there be a claim made against third party? Remember I said that earlier. A third party is an individual or organization other than the injured employee or the federal government who's liable for the injury. Like, so you're driving your LLV and somebody hits you, they T-bone you in the intersection or something. I hope that doesn't happen, but unfortunately it does every day. So for instance, the driver of a vehicle causing an accident in which an employee is injured, the owner of a building where unsafe conditions cause an employee to fall, like ice on a front porch, or water in an office. These are that's third party. So just they want you to list if there's a third party claim. They want you, to tell them about it. And believe me, if it's a third party claim, it's on the CA1, and they're going to send you a letter saying you have to sue the third party. You're going to get that letter. Mike Fox, Chris, I'm Ron Burgundy. He goes, I'm Ron Burgundy? Yes. Good one, Mike. And 8, additional pay. Additional pay includes night differential, Sunday premium, holiday premium. Okay, I went over all that. So I went through this and I told you all that stuff, but seriously, the main reason I wanted to even talk about it is Section 8 is not getting filled in. The supervisor is not putting your pay rate. And if your pay rate's not on there, you ain't getting paid. Okay, so go into your eComp account and check it out. Look at your CA7s and see if they're correct. If you're not getting paid, that's going to be your number one clue. You're going to look at Section 8, page 2, and go, whoops, my supervisor is dummy and did a dummy thing. So I want to answer some questions.
All right.
What we got?
Let's go. Now you can go ahead and ask your questions about the CA7, guys, because there's everybody asking 20 questions on the post. All right, let's see. Okay, Peggy Britt said, will OWCP recipients get COLA? She works for the VA hospital.
What's COLA? Is that COLA? Cost of living adjustment.
She's a VA.
You're going to be stuck at your pre-injury pay until you go back to work. So that answers that.
Let's see. Keanu Reeves. No. Oh. Robin Hayes said, I fell on the job and hit my teeth in December 2022. I chipped both front teeth. I filed my claim and have a claim number. I went to the dentist and they fixed my teeth. The dentist submitted a bill to OWCP, and OWCP isn't paying the bill. What can I do? I have an upcoming dentist appointment and I know they're going to make me pay this bill before they will see me. If I pay the bill, which is about $600, will OWCP eventually reimburse me for it?
So an OWCP 915 form is for that purpose, is you getting reimbursed for your out-of-pocket expenses. But, excuse me, the issue is that your doctor's not getting paid. Now, I work with and represent doctors, and I can tell you that I believe you should not care if they get paid. But you start caring if they get paid if they're billing you. So if they're not getting paid, it's because they're making a mistake. All right, it means they don't know how to bill OWCP through the portal because it's all online. Just like everything you do is online, everything the doctor does is online. And so their billing people probably just don't know what they're doing. They didn't get pre-authorization. They didn't include proper documentation, or they just didn't bill it properly to the right place, or maybe they mailed it in, which is like super old school. That's like 20 years ago stuff, and they're waiting to get paid.
Yep.
So you have to find out from them why they got denied payment, because when they get a denial, OWCP, just like they deny your claim, they'll send you a letter in the mail that says specifically your claim is denied because, right? Well, if a doctor sends in a bill and doesn't get paid, OWCP sends a letter saying, here's why you didn't get paid, right? So they have to look at that and be smarter than your supervisors and figure out how to fix it.
Kevin Andrews said, I thought that was a poster of Chris. That's
Well,
so funny.
I mean, Steve Jobs could have been my uncle, I think. We're both pretty smart.
Gosh. Yeah, your uncle. Kim Maiden said, I still have no appointment for my approved OWCP. I'm on a deadline. Kim, who are you trying to call? Private message me after the chats and let me know what doctor's office you're trying to call, and I'll make sure.
If it's one of ours, we'll
Yeah.
make sure you get in, and we'll apologize in advance.
If it's not, I'm sorry, we can't help you there.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
have to give them a call.
if it's not one of my doctors, my answer to you is keep calling, or just go show up and walk in.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to take responsibility for what's happening. So if they're presenting a red light to you, run the light.
Judy says, does anyone know why I would have to go to the same second opinion doctor twice?
Judy, she texted me about that. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. Yeah, she told me that by text. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I don't know, why would they send you to a second opinion visit by the same doctor as the first time? First of all, a second opinion doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think that's in the rules, but they do whatever they want.
Susan Walker said, very important to make sure they freeze your pay from the date of injury. If they don't, you could end up owing thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there's a lot of people at the end of the year getting demand letters because they receive dual benefits, like they got OWCP pay and like disability or Social Security or something at the same time. So be careful with that. But this pay thing, if it's not right, you can really get hosed, and we don't want that to happen.
Lonnie Duke said, how long does it typically take to get paid once a CA7 is filed?
Okay, so in a minute, I'm going to bring somebody on and make sure that question gets answered by that person. But I'll tell you what I saw in a claims examiner letter to a patient once. And that claims examiner said to turn their CA7s in every 2 weeks so you get paid regularly. And so I would have to assume that that's what they want you to do so you can be paid regularly.
Victor said, remember, management were trained to make employees' life miserable once employee gets hurt on the job. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys don't still understand about the CA7 and you want more info on it, start asking those questions, because there's a lot. He doesn't look at Facebook all the time, so I have to give him the messages. So when you guys are posting comments about CA7s, you got to come on here so we could do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to try to do is see if our partner Tom can get that video that he did on federalinjurycenters.com and see if I could upload it here to Facebook, because he does it in detail.
And I'm just seeing some messages over here. This is great. So Kenny Hodge is on.
Hey, Kenny.
What's up, my man? So he said he's working with Judy, so he'll text us later.
Okay.
So that's good. Judy, if you're working with Kenny, you're going to be in good shape.
We got Robin Hayes said, OWCP did send me a letter and said that I needed to submit an OWCP 915, but I'm assuming that the reimbursement, but I haven't been paid that bill yet.
Yeah. When you send in your 915 form, you're going to have to also send in documentation to prove that you paid that money. So you need like a receipt, a printout of the doctor's appointment from the office. Have the doctor sign that as well, that printout, so that you have proof that it's something that actually happened.
We have Kevin Andrew here. He's the case manager for Federal Injury Centers of Cleveland, Ohio. Chai Mai said, I'm still waiting on someone to talk to me. Her name is Michelle. My case was denied, and somehow they're telling.
Okay, so I know who you're talking about. I'll get with Michelle and we'll help you out.
Cindy Adamson said, how can you do an appeal if you were diagnosed for the wrong thing and then they send you back to work?
I saw that. Read that again. How can you do an appeal if you were diagnosed for the wrong thing and they send you back to work? Okay, that's your doctor's job. So you got to go back to the doctor and you got to have them do a diagnosis expansion and add the correct diagnosis. This is 100% a medical issue. There's no appeal needed. The doctor's got to do a diagnosis expansion and e-comp that.
Yeah.
It's a narrative report explaining why this diagnosis should be added to your claim.
Dr. Harper is here from Alabama. He's got 3 locations.
Dr. Harper is our most prolific winner in federal injury centers. So if you're in Alabama and you go anywhere else, you did that to yourself.
Kelly Durrett said, I'm a rural carrier on light duty. I'm getting paid regularly. I'm supposed to file a CA7. I haven't filled out a CA7 yet. I don't think I'm getting paid correctly.
So you got to look at and see what they put in there for your pay and make sure it's correct. You're the only one that can know that. So you go into your e-comp account and check out your CA7s.
I'm waiting on someone named Michelle to call me back.
Yeah, that's the same person.
Okay.
I'm going to give it Michelle. And you're welcome. I say the thank you so much. You're welcome. Send me.
D&D Younger Gang. I have approved claim. I filled out the form OWCP 915 for reimbursement of medical bills. I paid out of pocket. I have my bills and receipts. Do I need a form 1500 also when I send that in?
Not a
And the
1500.
provider's tax ID number to Department of Labor.
No, the 1500 is a doctor's medical billing form. That's not for you to fill out. There's nothing you can fill out there. So no, you don't have to do that. I want to just stop for a second. Scott Sears on saying hello. Scott, hello.
Hey, Scott.
I'm going to put him on the spot right here.
Okay.
I'm hoping that Scott will agree to let me interview him because you all need to see his story. And I'll leave it there for now, but it's, for me, the most touching story that you'll ever hear. So Scott, if everyone would like to see Scott come on, just hit a bunch of love buttons. And he already said yes, but do the love buttons anyways because, believe me, Scott deserves the love.
Yeah, wait till you guys hear this story. For all the
You won't
unions
believe
out there that doesn't understand how we help all of you out there in the federal world, when you hear the story, you're going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
And this is why we do what we do for you guys.
You remember when so I'm allowed to do this. It's my show, so I'll go with it. Well, it's out there, like in the metaverse. You can go look. But remember when the rural carrier sent me that letter? And I posted the letter here on Facebook so everyone could just see it.
Yes.
And it was from their national office, and they said, make sure everyone knows we're not associated.
Right.
Well, look, I'm associated with you, whether they're associated with me or not. And, Scott happened to be a rural carrier, right? So to the rural carrier union, you may not love me, but I love you. And Scott's an example of that.
And this goes for all the union and the nationals.
Yeah, but they're the ones that sent me the letter. So everyone can go back and read it. It's not a secret.
Christine said, try to have my knee injury checked out. If the case is closed, can I reopen it?
Absolutely. Every closed case can be reopened.
Maria said, I filed CA7 every time and haven't gotten paid. Also, I'm hearing that they only pay 4 hours for rural carriers.
Wait, what? CA7 every time and haven't gotten paid? No, they don't. They're going to pay you for what your work shift was, whatever your scheduled shift was, because you guys are evaluated for your route, and your route is X number of hours. They're going to pay for that. The 4 hours is not right. And look who's on tonight with us. Ron Speakman is on. See, he said hi. Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Ron. How you doing out there? Let's see. Again, don't forget, you cannot file CA7s until your claim is approved. This week alone, I got so many messages saying that they're submitting CA7s and they're getting denied. They're getting denied because your claim hasn't been approved yet.
You have to get your claim approved. And that's what we specialize in at Federal Injury Centers. We got over 1,120 claims approved last year. We're going to get over 3,000 claims approved this year.
And then
your claim gets approved first, then you get paid.
Yeah. And then there are 4 pieces of paper we tell you guys to submit with your CA7. So those of you that are messaging me, we're going to go over the 4 pieces of paper. DOL doesn't say to submit these 4 pieces of paper, but we notice that when you do, your CA7s start to get accepted.
Yeah.
So what are the 4 things you need to attach to your CA7?
Okay, good question. So you got to attach your form CA17 duty status report because the doctor took you off of work, right? So attach that. That seems silly because the claims examiner has that already, but we don't cut corners on getting paid, okay? Right. You also attach a form CA20. Your doctor's got to fill that out as well. You need to attach any printouts of appointments that you were at that caused you to be out of work and have the doctor sign that printout. And then the 4th thing is what we call a disability narrative. Yeah. We write a narrative report that explains medically why you had to be out of work that supports that CA-17. All 4 of those things get attached to your CA-7, and you turn that all in together. So keep a copy of it all, because you're going to have to upload that stuff. You're going to fill out your CA-7 form on eComp. You're going to need to upload the documentation through eComp as well. So just don't forget to do that. Actually, I think this is way better, because in the old days, you would attach that documentation, hand it to your supervisor, and they'd lose it in the trash can.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to do any of that. It's all virtual. You can upload it yourself. Your documentation cannot get lost. So that's, I think, going to be great. I love that everything's on eComp.
Yeah. And we're going to have somebody go on eComp. We're going to do a video of it so we could show you exactly how to do it, because there's a lot of you that have never been injured, and then you get injured and you don't know what to do. So we'll go through that.
So just, I'm going to just read what I can see here just real quick.
But can I do this shout out?
Yeah, why not?
To Miss Alex.
No way.
Yeah, she said, hey guys, it's been a while.
Okay, so there's an exception to every rule. I say that supervisors are either dumb or they're playing dumb. Alex is neither dumb nor does she play dumb. She's serious.
Yeah.
We love you, Alex.
We miss you.
Yeah.
Jennifer Becerra is on with Federal Injury Centers of McKinney, Fort Worth, and Dallas.
And she's also the greatest case manager in the history of OWCP.
Yeah, she's
She
great.
works for us. Or with us. We couldn't do it without her. In fact, if she left, I'd just close this company.
Oh my God. Jennifer.
It's just, she's the best at what she does.
April and Alonzo Guyton said hubby was injured in June 2022. He was seen by Tallahassee office until they
Tallahassee?
Did I say Tallahassee?
Tallahassee
office until they closed. He has been going to the Phoenix City office and has been receiving amazing care. Such a great office. Well, way to go, Federal Injury Centers of Phoenix City, Dr. Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Dr. Cooper's on. Everyone knows Dr. Cooper by now because he's faithful to this show. So we appreciate him always being here helping out. He's the one doctor that comes on and answers everyone's questions also. So you get like the doctor's aspect too. So that's really great. And Tim was on. Tim's got offices all over Maryland, Virginia, DC. I've heard there are some federal employees in Maryland, Virginia, DC.
Especially DC, I think.
Yeah. So if you're up there and you can't find a federal injury center, you're not trying. Okay, because he's got like 6 of them up there. So check it out. Don't be in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area and struggle. That's just, you just can't. Tim's a sharp dude.
We got Ron Speakman. He said, hello, hope you all are well. Can't wait to see Ron. Nicole Fisher, I'm going to do an ECAB appeal. I have been denied twice. Do I send them all my stuff, or do they have all the info already? How does ECAB work?
Well, it starts by don't do that. Just don't.
Don't choose ECAB.
I recommend against it. Eric Blauer says you only do ECAB if it's like a question of a statute or a law or something. I just would avoid it. Instead, I'd do a reconsideration and have your doctor do a better job. 100% of the time, we do a reconsideration, we win. We may have to do multiple reconsiderations. Somebody asked, how many times can you do a reconsideration? Infinite, as many as you got to. Just don't miss the 12-month deadline. I just wouldn't do ECAB. If you want to, it's fine, but you need a representative. Don't go alone.
You are talking so fast. I'm looking at you like, are you Andrew Tate?
Oh, that's funny. He does talk fast, but not right
I'm
now.
looking at you like, what the heck?
He's currently in jail. He's not talking fast.
Gosh. Lindsay said, how many times can you submit a reconsideration for back pay?
Let's answer that.
Oh.
You can do an infinite number of reconsiderations. Do what it takes to get paid.
Miss Paul said, who all can see your medical documents on eComp?
You.
Personal medical info, and how does this relate to HIPAA? What USPS personnel gets to see this?
Nobody can see your eComp account. You have to have your personal information. You create a username and password to make this account. Nobody can get into it unless you give them the information. So nobody but you and the claims examiner. At our offices, we will frequently work with you in your eComp account so the doctor's offices can see it if you show them. But you have to show them. So no, nobody can see it. There's no HIPAA issues. You'll be fine there.
Jennifer said, everything I know is thanks to Chris Helms. Aww.
Well, she's really sweet, but look, I'm just going to say this. Jennifer learned OWCP before I did. She worked for me in Texas.
Yeah.
And I met, this is a quick little detour, but I met her. She's from California, and I was having a talk with her one night. And I said, okay, if you ever move to Texas, call me because I have a job for you. I didn't know what it was going to be. But she came to Texas like, oh, thank God, I got a job for you. Learn OWCP. So she did that. And that's why she's the best in the world at this. She learned it even before I did.
Yeah, let's see. Victor said, need to talk to you about a convention in beautiful island of Puerto Rico, August 2nd through 5th, 2023. We're there. We already booked our tickets. We're already in Puerto Rico right now.
Don't tempt me with a good time. All right, so we're going to have to...
Yeah, all right.
So we're going to bring on a guest. We're going to do like a little bit of a set change here. Well, you're going to watch us do it, just so that all three of us can fit. So stand by. So
again, whatever questions you guys have about CA7s, go ahead and ask them away. Am I scooting? Should I go right back there?
No, stay here. Just back up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're back.
So, Chris's t-shirt says, I'm kind of a big deal, but we have another guest who is a big deal. He's gone through HE double hockey sticks and back. And he's going to be honest. He's not here to offend anybody, but he's going to tell you what he's gone through.
And if you get offended, you probably deserved it.
Right. And he's going to answer any questions that you guys have. So
with that said, let me bring in Ron Speakman.
Ron, thank you.
So Ron and his wife Lindy are in town for a conference. And we said, well, gosh, you're here. So why don't you just come here? So here he is, everyone. Ron Speakman from Pennsylvania. Don't call him past 2 a.m. His wife won't appreciate it.
And his wife is here, so don't.
Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah.
So tonight we want to talk to Ron. I mean, this is really a gift. I remember the first time you and I ever talked. Gini was driving. We were leaving Birmingham, driving back to Atlanta to fly home. And Ron called us when I was driving through the Talladega Forest or whatever. We were up through there. And Ron found our number and called and said, I'm having some problems. Can you help me? And I think because I wasn't driving, I think we talked for like an hour.
Yeah.
It was a nice talk. So we got to know each other really good there. And the thing with Ron is, and the reason I wanted him to come on, because we're here educating you, right? Well, I think the best education you can get tonight is hear what he went through, because this dude went through every possible problem you can go through in OWCP. And so we're going to talk about that so you can get it from his perspective and what he would do differently if he could do it all over again. So I'm going to just kind of open it up. This is going to be we didn't really talk much about this, so if it sounds like unrehearsed, it's because it's unrehearsed. So Ron, you're a letter carrier.
Yes, sir.
But you are presently retired.
Retired.
So Ron got an OWCP injury that led to a disability retirement situation. So when I say he's been through it, he's been from beginning to end. He's been through it. Just briefly, it doesn't actually have to be brief. We'll go late if we have to go late. Tell everybody what happened. I mean, you're a letter carrier. What happened?
Yes.
I was a city carrier. I got injured, I believe it was July 2nd of 2020. I was making my delivery and the steps coming out from underneath me. I caught myself kind of like a running back, and jarred my shoulder, felt some pain, worked a little bit, finished my route, worked through the holidays, and when I went to the doctor, it comes out that I had a torn rotator cuff. That was it at that moment. Now, to get my paperwork, that's going to lead into your next question, I'm sure. So we'll leave it at that. But that's pretty much what happened, how I got injured.
And this is back in the day before econ, by the way.
Before econ.
So this happened how many years ago?
2020.
Right. So he's now like 3 years out, almost, maybe 2.5. But he was doing all this stuff we talked about tonight by paper.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You have econ. So you get to double check your supervisor's work. They can't hide it from you. But
yes.
Yeah.
But I had the representation that I had. There wasn't any within what I had. I had to do everything that I had myself. All the resources that I had at my disposal, I used them. If they weren't at my disposal, I went out and did research of my own. I did stuff.
Yeah.
That's what separates me from the bunch, I think, because listen, at the end of the day, when you're injured, guys, you gotta want to do. You gotta do you. No one's gonna get you those answers, and if they do, you're very lucky to have people in the corner. I can name a number of people who are there for the carriers, as much as I stood up for myself, and that's what we need. We need that unity amongst as a whole within our union, or any federal union for that matter. But it's not there for everybody. That's why I see some of you guys online, Tanya, telling you, sorry, Arlene, Jackie was jumping on, I think. Mike Fox. You guys that reach out to me, I'll do my best to help you because I've been through the grind. But I call my state attorney general, even though he can't do anything. But listen, at the end of the day, when you're hurt, those of you who are going through it, I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I know how shit's getting swept under the rug. All right. And it could be from a union representative. It could be definitely from management.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Not you, Alex.
And there's some good management out there, and there's some good union leaders out there.
Right.
I know a few good people on national level. I'm not going to badmouth the union. There's certain individuals that I would badmouth because I know for experience you guys are assholes, and I'll tell you that to your face.
And if you know Ron, you know he'll tell him to the face.
I will.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. You still got to utilize unions. Unions are good. I'm an NALC, great union. But at the end of the day, even with that said, you have to be your biggest advocate, period. Once you get information, and this is big, I want you to get any kind of information, whether it's from Chris, his team, the union, me, whoever it is. You guys still have an obligation to yourselves to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
You need to take that information and run with it. I know a lot of you who are scared or maybe shy, maybe a little bit of both, retaliation, harassment. I've dealt with all this, guys.
Yeah.
There's ways around it. And if I can help you, reach out to them. They'll give you my number if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to help you guys. But the biggest thing is you have to stand up for yourself. I went 5 months without pay. That's not a lot. For me, it was a lot. But I know for a fact,
There's
some
people
people
going
I
years.
talk to, yeah, exactly, a year,
Yeah.
16 months. I don't want to name names, but Kenny Hodge, you on here still, brother?
Yeah, he's still here.
I know who you're helping. I've been helping her too, and she's another one that should be going through what she's going through. It's just a shame. The system's broke. Management has no clue what they're doing. I'll share a little something on you guys. Our own local. I'm not going to name names, but we went on. We actually said and made a recommendation to train in our district the managers on what to do with their paperwork on OWCP before ECOP.
They don't want that.
The pool was going to make a decision on it. We never heard back from her. So what does that tell you?
They don't want the
So
help.
stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to say no. If they ask you to work beyond your restrictions, whatever the case is, no. This is what I'm going to do. I'm staying within my restrictions. The minute you fall out of those restrictions, guys, your restrictions are out the window.
And you're going to get hurt.
And you're going to get hurt again.
But you said a thing. I don't want to get too far past it. One of the things we do is we do a steward training because, it's not your fault. I don't think that you have a training manual on OWCP. I know what it took for me to learn it. But you stewards, okay, you need to learn this stuff because I think, and I'm going to ask you a more detailed question about this in a second, but I think that Ron's life would have been made easier if from day one there was a steward who knew something about this and could guide him through it so he didn't have to, trip over himself all the way. There's no telling how many ditches you fell in walking forward because there wasn't somebody there to help you. So that's a learning point too. If you're a steward, learn from this. Victor Sanchez is on, and Victor is awesome. Like Florida is really, really lucky to have Victor because he made sure that Gini and I are teaching APW all over the state. And as a result, we've been able to teach APW in multiple states.
Yeah.
So that union has gotten it figured out. Like, okay, and they have an OWCP rep. I met him. He attended one of my classes. He's a great dude. But they don't take anything for granted. They say, okay, our members need this help. And so they do it. And so I'll be in a room full of stewards. I'll say, hey, who here is a president or a steward? Every single person raises their hand because they're really hungry for the information. I'd like all the unions to want that information. Okay, you should all be here learning. But the fact that you're not reaching out asking me to teach you is just shocking because Ron's an example of this is what your people need. You have great representatives, all of you. Like he's an NALC. NALC's got your MVPs and they've got their team of people and they do the best job they can. But your stewards all need to be experts at this or at least know something about it so they can guide the folks in the right direction. I think that would have been helpful if you had a representative to help you.
Very helpful. And I had certain people give me nuggets here and there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I took it myself and surprisingly,
you even called your congressperson, didn't you?
I got Congressman Wild from my state involved. Yes. And once they got that notice from them, both the USPS and the Department of Labor, All of a sudden, baby, that stuff started rolling fast.
Yeah, so
Fast.
that works. You can call your congressperson
Yes.
and they can get stuff done.
But again, you have to have. My biggest thing is, guys, even with e-com, you got to have documentation. You got to have facts.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. My case was bigger than just on-the-job injury. Again, retaliation. This is before I knew about OSHA 11Cs and everything else that comes with that I'm going to later on down the road. But it was my report writing and my documentation.
Yeah.
You have to. What was the smell in the air that day? Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, whatever.
They've heard me say that. Yeah, whatever you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you saw a
detailed.
butterfly,
Yeah.
how many times has
Very,
wings?
very
There was someone wrote was explaining their position on their detailed statement. They're right. Anybody who's a letter carrier or a rural carrier, you can relate. Even a clerk. They said they were pushing a pumpkin. No lie, the Department of Labor denied that claim because they could not relate. How were you lifting a pumpkin at your job at the Postal Service, not knowing that a pumpkin represented something you pushed at a cart that you pushed that they used?
Yeah, right.
That's an internal term. So you got to be careful with how detailed you are. Remember, they're reading something that they don't know what consists of your job. So explain more. Not a pumpkin. I pushed a cart that can weigh anything from 50 to 75 pounds, even 100 pounds or more, depending on what's in there. You guys know what you get in there. So
you're talking about writing your own personal statement.
your personal
And
statement.
this is something everyone needs to do. If you go to breakingowcp.com, there's a tab for free downloads. And I have a document in there to walk you through how to write a personal statement, because a lot of people just don't know what goes in it or what should be there. And so I asked some questions on the form that will help you write your statement. You can use multiple pages, but it's important because I think you would agree that if you had a doctor who knew what they were doing in the beginning and you handed them your statement and they incorporated that into their narrative, your case might get accepted the first time.
Absolutely.
How many times did you get denied?
I got all my stuff accepted the first time myself.
How'd you do that?
That documentation.
Okay, so that's my point. Look, he got it approved by writing his own personal statement and by being detailed with his documentation. This is why I'm teaching it. He's a prime example.
Yeah.
He did it himself. He didn't have any doctors. There's nobody in Pennsylvania that could help you at the time.
No.
Nobody knew anything about this. And so he took it upon himself and wrote his own personal statement. So that's a lesson point here. Write your personal statement and be as detailed as possible. If you see a butterfly, try to count the number of times the thing flaps its wings and write it down. Put everything into your detailed report. That's what you did to get accepted.
Yes,
you did it yourself.
Yep.
Can't find a doctor that knows what they're doing, do it yourself. And so that's why I teach this stuff. And that's why, the books, Breaking OWCP, is to teach you how to do this yourself. Because look, you got to take responsibility for it. I don't have offices in all 50 states yet. And so if you're in, some place where I don't have an office, what are you going to do about it? What Ron said, write your own statement. So let me ask you this.
Yep.
Everything you know now, okay, with everything you've been through over the last 3 years, what are like 2 or 3 things that if you could just go back to day one, that you would do differently to make your life easier?
Well, not get hurt, right? That's the number one thing.
Yeah, so don't do
Not get
that.
hurt.
If you can avoid getting hurt, that's good.
Honestly, for me, if I would have known the resources when I got hurt, it'd have been a lot more easier. Like you guys, federal injury centers.
Well, this is what I always say. If you wait till you need the information to get it, it's too late.
It's too late.
Right.
It's
So
too late.
you're all here watching. This is great.
It's too late. I'm nobody special, guys. I just, when my back's against the wall, you guys should feel the same way I feel. This is my family. This is my work of living. I'm 5 months without pay. I'm maxing out credit cards. I'm emptying out my savings account. The shit adds up.
Yeah.
5 months only with mine. I know you guys go longer than that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to. But what I would do different is utilize those resources. And I'll be honest with you, even after I've been through everything, when we did connect, I read your books.
Yeah.
The books helped me. I told Chris this story, actually. When I got his books and I was back at work on limited duty, I had to do C360 inquiries, customer complaints online. But before they got me hooked up, I just sat there for about 2 weeks. So what I do, I brought his books in. I propped my feet up on the desk. I had my union supervisor shirt on, and I just sat there.
Stupid boss.
Stupid advisor.
Had my books I was reading. Now, I had a good supervisor before who she thought it was funny. If she would have told me to cover it up, obviously I would have covered it up, right? Know your management, know what you can get away with, what you can't.
You got enough problems as it is. You don't have to make more
If
battles.
she would have said cover it up, guess what happened? I had filed a grievance in the book bag. That one would have went on over it. So we're good. And I had the coffee mug, by the way.
Yeah, the supervisor mug.
No, I had filed a grievance one.
Oh, that one.
So I was reading the books, but my point is, I even been sitting there on the clock getting paid, educating myself for further stuff.
Yeah.
So when my CA7s, just like you guys are going through right now, was having an issue going through, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I got on some information and stuff. And then once I implemented that to the supervisor, you mentioned the federal code of regulations.
Yeah.
They don't know what the hell that shit is.
No
Educate
clue.
yourselves by, listen, this is what this says. You got 10 days to get this submitted.
Right.
Not 11, not 30. I don't have 30 days to report my injury. I had 3 years to report my injury. Okay?
Right.
But also, there's other time frames that you do need to meet, like CA16, right?
Yeah.
7 days.
Yeah, 7 days. Look at that. It's
7
all in the
days,
book.
4 hours.
That's right. They have 4 hours to give it to you.
48 hours with verbal authorization. That's another thing.
So the point is, like, if you could go backwards and do something different, the number one thing is you would have known the stuff that you needed to know prior to the injury.
prior to even getting hurt, so when I got hurt, I knew what the hell to do.
So
Rather
what can
than-
you all do? Share this. Like, just hit the share button where you're at. Come back to us. We're not going anywhere. Because this is the point. If your friends at work wait till they need the information, it's too late. Because now they're just scrambling to figure it out. But they could come here and start getting educated right now, and hopefully nobody will get hurt. But you have hard jobs. You're definitely going to get hurt. Somebody's getting injured.
Yes.
There's like 60 or 70,000 approved claims every year out of 2.8 million federal employees, and probably half of them have a problem.
Exactly.
So
Listen,
there's not enough approved claims. But
we get hurt every day.
you know, what if you're like Ron and you know the information and you can get your own claim approved? And that's the whole point. That's why I wrote those books. That's why we do this here, is so that when you know, God forbid, the thing happens, you're ready, you know? And so that's what we need. So tell your friends this is happening, and you can be more like Ron.
So a lot of you are saying you'd like us to come out to do your conventions and your local steward training. We did one for Ron's local.
Yep.
Ron, can you tell everybody what you thought about it and what your experience was before and then after?
And what was the result of it?
So I think I'm not going to name names, but
Right.
there's 2 key people here. You guys know who you are. You guys set up. I brought you the knowledge of these guys in federal energy centers. You guys vetted them. I'm just going to use your names. That's fine. Keith from my local and Tom, our president from our local. You guys knew about them, vetted them, and you agreed to bring them in. So
And you should be committed for that.
you
And-
should.
Just one thing, where he's saying his local vetted us, it was his local
Our local.
president,
President
not the national.
and the OWCP specialists.
Right.
So, but they learned a lot of stuff. There's certain things that you brought to the table where, like, even our best people were like, "Oh, that's a good thing. I'm going to use that."
Right.
That's good. We need that because some of the stuff. Listen, guys, OWCP, what we go through in a work injury, you find the stuff in the elm, and you match it together, and it goes hand in hand. It's a wonderful thing to use for grievances. Just again, educating yourselves. And as stewards, you got to know these things to help your members. And I want to point this out. Certain nationals are great. Certain regions in our national are great. And not just our unit, and other units as well. They utilize whoever, in this case, federal injury centers, no problems. Now you have certain people in other regions who will be like, listen, though I've seen the emails, guys, what you send out. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of a big deal. So I always put that out there. I hear everything and I see everything from you guys. You guys let me know.
Yeah.
I'm nobody special. You guys are coming to me. I'm helping you, and then I hear everything else. So, but saying that, there's some people out there that don't want the outside help. Why not?
I know.
I got members. Listen, I want you guys to listen. This isn't to your audience right now. This is to people who will listen to this later on. If you're in a national union and you're not utilizing outside help, federal injury centers, whoever it may be, because you feel some type of way, get your head out your ass. I'm just going to say that, okay? Because your members are coming to me, and I'm helping them, and I'm always on the clock. My wife will tell you, I feel phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. I'm here for you.
Last
I
phone
know what
call
it's
should be
like.
at 1:30, folks. Okay.
What he says, it's true. But listen, I'm here for you guys. My wife knows; she understands. But I just want to get that out of there to you. Please get your head out your ass. Put your whatever it is, how you feel. Put that aside. This isn't about you. This is about your members or our members. If you're in my
And doing what they need and giving them the help
and
they
that's
need.
it.
Yeah.
Now, listen, and I'm not bad mouthing anybody. I'm speaking sincere from the heart. Don't be ashamed to use outside help. The way I look at it, it's free labor. You get to sit on your ass more and do nothing. That's what you're doing already because your people are going elsewhere for help. And you guys, I don't have to name names. You guys know who you are.
Tell them how much your local paid me to come up and teach.
Nothing. Zero.
What
Free.
about my plane ticket? How much did that cost you?
Nothing. And you
Hotel?
know what? Nothing.
Nothing.
You know what? We got free books.
So, we make it easy for you to invite. We want it. It's not a sales presentation. Ron will tell you. In fact, we did it live. You just go back and look at it. We were live on Wednesday Night Chats.
That's
Right?
right. We did live.
So we're not there selling federal injury centers. I'm not telling you that because I'm there teaching, you have to go to our doctors. You don't. I mean, you can go anywhere to find an untrained doctor. So just do that if that's what you want to do. But we don't go there to sell federal injury centers. We go there to teach OWCP, and it's needed. And if Ron would have had somebody like me in the beginning before he got hurt, his life would have been a lot easier, just like your lives are made easier by knowing this stuff. So that's why we're teaching it. And that's why I want to bring Ron on, because, you need to hear it straight from this guy who I know his whole story. He's been through everything. He even called your congressperson. He's been through it all, but he did it himself. And I don't want you to have to do it yourself. That's why we have these franchise locations, because we'll do it for you. But if we're not there, what are you going to do about it? So you need the training, you need the education. We're happy to come do it.
Yeah.
And Victor Sanchez just a minute ago said, "Damn, Ron knows a lot about OWCP." Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
But he had to.
Bro, solidarity.
Yeah, but he had to learn it. He had to do it. Yeah. I hadn't written my first book yet when we met.
Right.
It hadn't. I don't think I had.
No, you didn't.
Right?
No.
Because I wrote the first book during the COVID one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ron, why is it from you being a union member, retired union member, but when you were active, why is it that you think or feel the union wouldn't want outside help?
That's a question that even stumps me, to be honest with you. I will say this, and it's not to defend the powers to be.
Right.
No, we want your honest
Yeah, we
answer.
want you to feel
They want the honest
There
answer.
are people out there, outside sources. This is what scares certain unions or certain people at national level, or your RWCAs or your director of OWCP in your union, if you have one, if you're lucky to have one. I know lower carriers, you're hurting, man. I'm here for you guys too. But it comes down to when there's other outside sources. Help me with the
teamwork ready.
Thank you. Teamwork ready.
Okay, that's like dropping an F-bomb in my house.
It is.
So that we said teamwork ready, it's like I just told you F.
Yeah.
Teamwork ready. You can look it up on your own time. But
There's a
is-
DOJ report on it. It's in my compliance manual. It's down here.
So that's another thing I'm gonna get into. But the outside sources, what they were doing stuff illegal. They got caught. I think all of them did time.
Most of them, yes.
No, many of them are still there.
Yeah, there you go. And that's the reason that outside source failed. And it kind of like a law enforcement. All it takes is one bad officer, one bad conduct on duty to destroy that whole department.
Yeah.
And that
5 guys in
credibility
Memphis.
is gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
5 guys in Memphis.
So I think to answer your question, that they're scared to let that in. But how do you counteract that?
Right.
Get your head out your ass, have a conversation,
Let's talk about it.
talk about it. At the end of the day, after the talk, if you don't agree, keep moving. However, if you find something that's useful, if you go to Manhattan, who's batting 100, Dr. Cooper, I see you. I think he's on here, right?
Yeah.
Give you a shout out, Cooper. You're doing well, and to all the other doctors who are doing well. Compliance. What did we charge them? Coming to see us and do our union meeting? How much?
Zero.
Zero. So the same thing goes. Their compliance is on point. Nothing out of pocket for us as the injured carrier or whoever you are.
Yeah, you're not allowed to pay anything to our office.
There's nothing out of your pocket. We could talk about compliance all day, but that's the biggest thing, compliance, because of someone else ruining and leaving a bad taste in other people's mouths, and it brings that scared factor into it. The what if?
That's right.
So I get it, guys. But at the end of the day, a conversation can go a long way. And I know I talked to a few of you guys, at my national at least, about hey, have the conversation. You don't want to have the conversation. Now, we do have our own people. And again, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names or not, but you guys know at the national level, if you're watching this later on, you see me, you know who you are. I appreciate you. Some of you have the passion like I do, and you do a great job helping people. Keep it going. But you got to spread that love across the border and just have a conversation at the end of the day. That's all. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yes, and if someone has a conversation with me about what we're here doing, and at the end of the conversation they're still not interested, that's that. We'll never talk again.
That's it.
I'm not trying to beat you down and
I
chase you down.
I don't understand why you badmouth someone and you don't want to have a conversation. You choose not to have a conversation, but you badmouth the people who's trying to have a conversation with you. Why?
Yeah.
I can listen, guys. Can I?
Oh no, not yet.
Okay,
I'll do this at the end.
Okay. I got a surprise for you guys. Yeah. I can't get too much into detail. However, I have a surprise for you at the end. I'll let Chris drop that bomb for you. But
so, you have any more questions?
Yes, there's a few.
Are people asking questions to Ron?
Some.
Get those. Let's do the Ron questions.
How long it took to get?
Hey Ron, how long did it take you to get your disability approved? From the day that you. So we're answering that question. From the day you. And you used Eric Blowers, right?
I used Eric Blowers.
Everyone here knows Eric. So he used Eric to help him with his disability. And Rachel, Eric's other lawyer, and Rachel's awesome. She's got the giantest brain for the smallest body. Giantest is a new word.
Giantest?
Giantest.
That's
It's the
say.
giantest brain. They used Eric. And so Ron's situation is different because he used Eric. But from the day you decided to do disability to the date you were approved, how long was that roughly?
Wow. When I filed, probably 9 months. Typically, the average is 9 months. I got a decision back in 3. That was quick. However, just like OWCP, their job is to deny.
Yeah.
There's someone who I'm not going to mention any names, but they're literally blind and their stuff was denied. Blind.
Yeah.
Now, that's
why can't you do your federal job anymore?
Well, oh my
It's like in one of my books, I tell a story in the OPM section. I tell this hypothetical story of a guy who's on vacation and he's fishing and a shark bites his arm off. And so now he's disabled. But that person probably got his claim denied too.
He probably did, but all I had to do was swim.
Why can't you just use your other arm?
Swim in circles. Yeah.
Just swim in circles.
Let's see. Victor said, Ron, much respect from Central Florida APW.
Yeah, Victor's great. We love Victor.
What's up, Victor?
Maria said, it's too bad Connecticut won't invite you.
So we've been to Connecticut.
We've been to the Rural Carrier Convention. So what we do understand is if your local union is okay with having us come train your stewards or your state convention, then it's okay.
Yeah, we're in.
We need the official invite from somebody in the union office, the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. I mean,
Bruce got an invite in Sacramento, right?
Sacramento, yes.
So we're going to be there. Who was that?
APW.
APW, of course.
Great.
You guys are awesome. And somebody asked a question earlier, do we only train APW and NALC? Okay, so we don't train NALC enough. And they said, what about the mail handlers? Well, yeah, we do a lot of mail handler training. Like we do stuff in Alabama with the mail handlers there all the time. Shout out to JC. So we train everybody. We train AFGE. We've been to Social Security, VA. I've been on military bases to train the folks out there. So yeah, it's not just APW.
Yeah, TSA,
we used to do
everything.
We used to do rural carrier conventions all the time.
Now it's APW.
And then that got shut down.
So, but if you are a rural, or if you are a mail handler, or NALC, or which is the other one?
Mail handlers.
I said that one.
Rural carriers, mail handlers, city carriers, and clerks.
Yeah, or VA employees,
or AFGE.
or AFGE. We will come to your local, or your state, or your national convention for $0.
Okay, so speaking of AFGE, it just made me think of this. So Tish Thomas.
Yes.
She's the AFGE VA president in Florida. Shout out to her because she is a badass.
She already invited us. She already popped it in here, April.
She's one that's like, look, I don't care. My members are going to know this stuff.
Yeah.
So look her up. I just want to say this for now. We're going to actually have her on the interviewer in a few months, but and she knows this. But Tish, I'm going to say it again. She's badass.
She is.
And she will do anything to get you the help if you're in her union. Anything.
Yep. Lydia said, hello, Jeannie and Chris from Pittsburgh. We need our APW taught and work for employees, not management.
Get us an invite. I'm with you on that.
Maria said, I've been with the post office for over 20 years, and just last year was the first time I heard these bins called pumpkins.
How about that?
How
Tonight
about
was the first night. I thought he actually literally meant somebody lifted a pumpkin.
See? That's what BOL thought too.
What's Mike saying here? Mike Fox said, after I got injured in 21 and was out work for the entire summer, Ron was the only one that didn't turn his back on me.
Aww.
He introduced me to Wednesday night chats and told me to be my own advocate. Mike Fox,
Yes.
and good job doing that, by the
Yes.
way.
Appreciate the words.
And you know what? He's, he'll still reach out every once in a while and say, hey, Chris, what about this? What about that? And that's what you do. If any of you want some extra help, send us a message. We're happy to do it.
It's called a freaking hamper. I agree. Javon.
Heidi Pendleton's on. Hello. Love your hard work. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, Heidi, you know this guy.
What's up, Dr. Heidi?
So Dr. Pendleton's at our office in Royceford, Pennsylvania.
Did
So,
I
thanks for
answer
being
the
on.
question? Did I answer the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connie Weaver said, got hurt in February last year, had a rotator cuff surgery June last year, still on limited duty, 20-pound restriction, and they had me go back to a route, and if there's a package over 20 pounds, they would have someone else deliver it. Well, I hurt myself again while loading my vehicle, and they have surgery.
Happens.
They have to have surgery again. Afraid they're going to fire me. Can they fire me after 2 years?
Okay, so you cannot be fired for having a legitimate work injury. Now, those of you that know me know that I'm funny about the word can and can't. Yes, they can do it, but it's not legal.
Becky Brooks said, can I upload a more detailed statement about the accident after the fact, or can it only be with the original CA1?
Who asked that? Becky, upload it right now. It's not too late. Any information you can give your claim examiner is good. Even if it's late, do it.
Priscilla said, what's the name of your books?
Breaking OWCP, and the website's hard to remember. It's breakingowcp.com.
Can I expand on your
Oh,
answer?
no,
Yes.
do it.
Well, who asked that question?
Becky.
before?
Becky.
Becky, he was right. Put it in right away.
Or as soon as possible.
As soon as possible is right away. That's what we can
Now.
do now.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, do it right now, but also put in there, think about it, when we all write our statements, we do it right then and there. They say when it's freshest, but sometimes your adrenaline's going depending on what happened, even well after the injury happened on that same day when you get back to the office to write that statement. So it is absolutely okay to write and expand on that written statement, just like you do a diagnosis expansion report on a narrative or an ICD-10 code that's accepted.
Yeah.
So just be sure to put that in there. Whatever the case was for you. I mean, it could be simple as, hey, I didn't think about that at the time and I forgot. Whatever the case is.
Yes.
But be honest. Honesty is your best friend at the end of the day. So, but don't be afraid. Get that in.
What else you got?
Ms. Newman said, I contacted DOL and EEOC, and they said they were not able to assist.
Well, sometimes we're not.
Sandy said, I asked for paperwork to take to the ER when I got hurt, but my postmaster was more worried about me clocking out. She told me I didn't need to do anything to go do what I needed to do. Well, now they're wanting documentation from the first doctor that saw me. The hospital said all I could get was my medical record for the day. I sent that in, but it still hasn't gotten approved. That's definitely not going to get it done.
Your medical records from the hospital are never going to get that done. I don't know where you're located. You can let us know, but you got to go to an office that knows how to write narrative reports to get claims approved. If you don't get your claim approved, the hospital is going to send you a bill. You're not going to have any of your benefits. You won't be eligible for schedule or later. Like, everything's bad if you don't have a claim approved. So go to a doctor that knows how to do it and get your claim approved.
Ms. Newman said, we need an office here in Houston ASAP.
Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and promote offices that I'm not familiar with, but I know Houston has doctors. I know they do. I'm from Texas. I can tell you they do. But they're not mine, so they're not as good as they would be if they were.
Barbara said, the Land O'Lakes office is run very smoothly. Thank you
All right.
all.
Yeah, good job, Dr. K. So, Land O'Lakes office is part of a group in the Tampa Bay area that's got 4 locations. 4 locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
St. Pete, Pinellas Park, Palm Harbor, and Land O'Lakes. Like, if you're in those areas and you go anywhere else, that's on you. You did that to yourself. Because all they do is win. And I'm going to again say, we're going to have Scott Sear on. He said yes. So we're going to have Scott sitting in this chair where Ron's at. And when you hear Scott's story,
You're gonna have tears.
it's the most touching story that I know. I love Scott. We just saw him. We had lunch with him on Sunday, right? Brunch on Sunday. The family, Tammy, Dave. I mean, they let me drive the truck. It's like a jet engine. You could fly that thing to the moon. But I digress. We're gonna bring Scott on and tell the story, but incredible story.
Miss Marcus says, is there one in South California? You have to go on our website at federalinjurycenters.com, click locations to find all of our locations.
We're as far south now as San Diego, and we've got 3 offices in Los Angeles County. Just go check it out online.
Kristen said, do I really wait until 45 days of COP to file my CA7s?
No, it said to file your CA7s 5 days before COP runs out.
And your claim has to be accepted.
You can file it, but they're not going to pay you till your claim's approved.
Liz Nelson said, the union either doesn't know or don't care. I've been through it, so others ask me.
So you all know me. I'm not a union badmouther or basher, but as I was telling Ron before we started, there's a bad apple in every place. And I say call somebody else. If you, as a union member, you're not getting help from someone, which happened to you, do you just stop?
No.
You just give up.
No, and that's you can't just give up.
Go talk to someone else.
If you're in the NALC, please reach out to me. I'll get you to someone who can help you. I'm going to help you also, but I'll get you someone in national who can help you.
And we got Kenny Hodge on here, who's a mail handler. We've got clerks, Victor's here. So that's the thing about this community that we have here on Wednesday Night Chats, that there's somebody here that's willing to help you. And so if you're struggling where you're at, there's someone probably here right now that can help you with that struggle. That's, you're not just here to learn stuff, but we're all family.
We're all
all doing things for each other.
We're all here for each other.
Tammy Newman, never give up. That's exactly right.
Amen, Tammy.
And so that's where I was going with Scott. So that claim was denied. I'm not going to tell too much detail because the story's so good you have to wait.
Yeah.
Okay. But that claim was denied for so long until Dr. K got a hold of it. And Tammy is Scott's mom. Her shoulder got approved as well. She's about to get surgery for her shoulder. Okay. Dr. K got that approved. And when I say Dr. K, he's a chiropractor. So some of you are like, he's a chiropractor. He didn't do it. No, but we have a multidisciplinary approach. And a medical doctor, nurse practitioner, and chiropractor, they're all putting their big heads together and getting things done. And Dr. K is just in charge of the office. But yeah, you go to one of these offices in the Tampa Bay area, you're going to win. If you go anywhere else, you're going to lose. And I can say that for sure. Nobody knows better than I do.
Chai Mai said, Ron, how long did it take you to get your disability?
Oh, no, we answered that already.
Oh.
9 months.
9 months. Sorry, I got a little ahead of you there.
In the process of seeking disability retirement loss there as well, how do you do it?
Call Eric Blowers.
I got Eric Blowers involved. If you're NALC, there are people who can help you and will write the narratives. However, I hired Eric. I can only tell you my experience. I can't speak for anybody else. I hired Eric because I knew that people at National were very backed up, and the log was was piling.
So how long do you want to wait?
How long do you want to wait? You want to wait? It's just like I want to touch on the narrative reports real quick. I paid thousands of dollars for narratives.
Jeez.
Again, I didn't know about these guys or their doctors. I didn't know the language myself then. I knew certain things being detailed and stuff, but there's certain language that you need to have. But I paid thousands of dollars for narrative reports. I had the money, but I didn't have the money. I told you I spent all my credit cards from lawyers. I hired the wrong attorney first, by the way. You don't even need an attorney. If you educate yourself, you ain't gonna need an attorney unless you're in hot water. Okay?
So people say lawyer up all the time on this page, but that's really not a thing.
You don't.
You almost never need one.
No.
But for disability, for schedule awards, and third parties, lots of times you need a lawyer.
Yes.
Definitely third party injuries.
I mean, my thing was I was tired. I did so much myself. My wife could tell you probably this the same. It was a full-time job when I was out of work, just fighting the system. 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I kid you not, every single day. When I think I had a day off, nope, back to the grind.
Yeah.
I got a denial letter for whatever the case was. My case was accepted, so that's the important thing. But they're still their pay.
They're still gonna fight you.
They're gonna fight you. But I had enough for 5 months, so I hired a lawyer, and I hired the wrong lawyer. I won't name names. However, when he drops a bomb to you guys at the end, we're gonna have these conversations later. But I hired one. I dropped $7,500 wasted out, and I know some of you
never get that
dropped
back.
almost more, and some of you did drop more with the same lawyer that I've utilized before. So you gotta be wary. Eric Glowers and his team are very educated. If you come to a crossroads where you're questioning, I need to hire a lawyer, from my experience, Eric Glowers and his team, Rachel, everybody, they're great, and they will get your stuff and approved. They'll get the help that you need. They're great. So just be careful and wary about hiring, the right federal lawyer, because you don't want to screw yourself, end up like me, wasting money when you're already out 5 months pay or more, like you would be.
If you've ever seen the movie Donnie Brasco, they do the same. They say he's a friend of mine, he's a friend of ours. Eric is a friend of ours. Okay, like trust me, he's one of you. He used to be a federal employee. So yeah, I don't want to get on and promote Eric too much because he's going to owe me some money if I do.
Ms. Newman said, and if any AFGE members are on here that work at the VA, maybe Tish, if you're on here, you can help this lady. Ms. Newman says, how can I file a complaint or grievance against OWCP for VA employees for retaliation?
So you don't file anything to OWCP for retaliation. That's to OSHA. 1-800-321-OSHA.
Explain to them.
Okay, so
why you would
OSHA,
do that.
right? So OSHA says that your sixth employee right, they have 9 employee rights. Your sixth employee right is the right to report a work injury. And then OSHA also says on their website that it is a crime to prevent you from exercising your rights under the law. And so when your management won't allow you to do this, you call OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, and ask, is it a violation for them not to let me do this? I think they're going to say yes.
What kind of doctors are in Houston if they're not yours? Because mine keeps doing my paperwork wrong. Well,
Hey,
we don't
I
have
hear
any
you.
doctors there.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, she's like, what kind of doctors are there? No, I get that. I'm not saying they're great. In fact, there's one that just got busted by the feds, and I actually know him personally. So, I'm not saying it's a good solution for you, but I'm not here for you, to tell you all the impossibilities. If you can find a doctor there, and I think you can, you probably have a better shot. All right, so
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, we're gonna answer. So any of your questions that we didn't get to tonight verbally, we'll go through and we'll answer. Jennifer, if you're still on here, will you just do us a favor and just kind of scroll some of these late ones and see if you can answer? That would be really great. I appreciate the help. We'll do the same thing. But because I have Ron here, this is a special thing. This is the bomb. I'm gonna drop that bomb now.
Uh-oh.
So I want you all to be aware that a couple of things are happening. Starting with Ron. Ron's got a podcast that he's starting up, and I've got a podcast I'm starting up, and they're both on work comp. We're going to sort of cross over between podcasts. I'll be a guest on your show. You'll be a guest on mine. And but tell everyone what's coming.
Wait, are we dropping the bomb?
This is the bomb.
Boom.
Boom. So I am dropping a podcast that's going to be coming out soon, and we'll let you know, and you guys can help get it out there as well. It's going to be called Fed Up.
FED up.
FED up. Because why not? We're fed up. We're federal employees. We're fed up with the bullshit that we constantly have to have. Fed Up is going to be your place to come. Those of you who I helped, those of you who I didn't help, if you want to be part of the show, great, jump on. I'll get you on. It's a place to come and vent your frustrations without having fear of retaliation, but also to get solutions to problems that you're having. And if I can't help you, I guarantee you I will get you to a person that can help you. Because that's what we're all about, solutions and helping you get over those hurdles. But Fed Up, listen, stuff that I couldn't say here, you best
You'll be saying there.
I'll be saying there. Because the truth is, I can't say the word here. We're all effing fed up. You understand?
Right.
So we have to bind together, unity, create that unity. Listen, guys, if we're together, you can't stop us. But it starts with educating yourselves first. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. A lot of people will be called out.
What do you think? You think you're going to do it on Tuesday nights? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking
because we're doing this on Wednesday. So
I can't do it Wednesday. I think I'm going to do it Tuesday night.
So he's going to have Fed Up on Tuesday night. I'm starting a podcast. You'll be shocked to learn that it's called Breaking OWCP. So it'll be the Breaking OWCP podcast. We're going to do ours on Thursday.
Oh, that's perfect.
So you'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get educated on things. I mean, your thing probably won't all be
No,
I'm sure you'll be talking. You'll touch
stories,
all kinds of topics,
union
right?
stuff within the union, without the union.
Yes.
Your stories, OWCP cross-reference. We're going on platforms where you can download on Apple Podcasts. Mike Fox, if you're here, help me out, buddy, because Mike Fox is actually going to be my editor and help me run this thing too.
Yeah, remember, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? Ron and I did a Zoom, and Mike was on because Mike's our local expert on how to do podcasting. And so, yeah, is Mike going to be involved in the Fed Up podcast? Or maybe
if he
later?
wants to come on, he can. Mike, I can't speak for you. I know you're going to do the behind-the-scenes stuff, but you're more than welcome to come on too. We talked about it. But Tuesday nights is going to be good. And, enough is enough, guys. Fed Up is the place to be. Please come. We want to give you solutions for the issues that you're having.
Yeah.
But we're also going to talk truth. We're not going to sugarcoat shit.
Like
I know a lot of stories.
Lonnie Duke says you'll be free to name names. Yes, you will.
Yes, I will. And guess what? There's a lot of people to be named. But I don't want to give you the wrong impression. We're fed up and we're going to talk a lot of shit that needs to be talked about. However, I want to give credit where credit's due as well, because we're not about just bashing people.
Yeah.
Only those who deserve it and need to be called out, we're going to do it to.
It'll be educational.
But that's
it'll be
me.
entertaining.
They can talk about whatever they want.
Yeah. Now, on my podcast is going to be more of what you see here, but a little bit more candid. I'm going to do a lot of teaching. I'll probably take chapters of the book, break them down. I plan on having it on video. I'll be doing some live stuff. I'll be doing some recorded things. Probably you will as well.
Yes.
And, we're going to have some fun with it. And then once I get this podcast thing down, Gini and I are going to do a Friday night podcast that will, with her on it, I assure you, will be just like a clown show. So that'll be fun.
What did you hold me?
The clown show.
I'll be quiet.
Oh.
And then my son is at UNT in Texas, and he's taking podcasting right now in his media arts degree. So hopefully Aaron will learn this stuff and teach his old man something, so we can do good at it. Because he's taking a podcasting class. So
great.
we're all in. We got all the equipment. Ron's got all the equipment. We're just, I guess, getting signed up with our platform so we can produce it. So look for it to be ready to go in less than a month. Both of us probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be an email out. You probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
You already have your email, but I'll have a Fed Up email. So if you ever, I'll drop it to Chris. He can get it to you guys as well.
We're going to definitely be promoting it here because people need this.
Absolutely.
This information. We're only producing information that has demand.
Yes.
Everyone wants this, and people that don't know they need it, they figure it out.
Yeah.
But don't let your friends wait till it's too late.
No, don't do that. But if you want to be a guest on the show, talk about anything, whatever the case is, I want to let you know we'll do the session, record it live, but I won't air it live. What I'll do is I'll edit stuff out, and then I'll send it back to whoever I'm interviewing for final listening for approval, and then I'll post it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever platforms I also put it on. So
So we're giving you all the information. There's more information about OWCP coming out than ever before. We got the 3 books. We got Wednesday night chats. You can go to Federal Injury Centers and learn a lot of stuff at federalinjurycenters.com. You're going to have Fed Up. You're going to have the Breaking OWCP podcast. And then, we've got Kenny Hodge is on here. Kenny Hodge does a podcast called Hodge to Hodge on Blog Talk Radio. He does a lot of OWCP talk there. So there's tons of information. Not having the information is because you're not trying, because it's out there now. It's out there like never before. Before I wrote those books, there was 2 books ever written. One by Lenny Perez, who died in jail after committing healthcare fraud with OWCP, and one by an ex-claims examiner that just deals with a micro topic in OWCP. It's not broad, right? And there's nothing else on this topic except for Breaking OWCP, Volume 1, 2, and 3, Wednesday Night Chats, and now on a podcast. So, and Kenny's podcast. You got to check out Kenny's podcast.
Yes, sir.
The Hodge to Hodge podcast.
Shout out, Kenny.
Fire. Yeah, it's fire. So,
You work Saturdays?
Saturdays and Sundays are like Mondays and Tuesdays.
Did you inform them about the Saturday rule?
Wait,
COP?
go ahead.
The Saturday rule. No,
No,
okay.
tell them.
So, guys, for COP, if your 45th day falls on a Saturday, which would be 12 a.m. and Saturday morning, the Saturday rule implies OWCP rule that you have until Monday, the next business day, which is Monday. So if you're on the 45th day and that weekend comes, guess what? Get it in now, but you have till Monday morning. Actually, you have till Monday, I should say 12 a.m. to get that in. So just want to get that out there to you, whatever it is.
Dropping knowledge bombs. All right. Well, listen, it was great. I was really excited to have you here. Thanks for
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That's really good.
Yes, sir.
Watch
Thank
the
you
Fed
guys.
Up watch for the Fed Up podcast. Watch for my podcast working at OWCP, and keep coming back here and tell all your friends. Okay, if you're not sharing, seriously, somebody's getting hurt right now. Maybe not now, but potentially there's a mail handler working overnight that's getting hurt. Okay, there's a VA nurse that's getting hurt. Something is happening somewhere, and they need the knowledge. So share this. Wherever you're watching it from, share it to everyone you know, because some of the people you know are your coworkers, okay, or friends of your coworkers. Family. Okay, so we want to share this to as many people as possible so that we can get the help out. Ron and I and Gini are doing everything we can to teach you this stuff, but we need more eyeballs to teach more people. So please help us out and share, and share again. You have any final thoughts you want to give?
Oh, me. I'm looking at Ron. You're looking at me.
She's like, I have no responsibility here whatsoever.
All right, guys. We want to say again, thank you, Ron, and Lindsay's in the back for Lindy for coming out to do this live chat with us tonight. Remember, don't call him after hours, especially you people in California, the West Coast. Watch it with the time. If we didn't answer your question, we'll either answer it here or you can private message me on the Wednesday night OWCP chats or my personal page. You're looking for the book, please go to breakingowcp.com. For locations, go to federalinjurycenters.com, click the locations tab. There's a red big button and keep looking at it.
If you can't find the locations tab, I don't know what's happening. But if you call the 877 number asking for location, that meant that you had to go to the website to get that number and you didn't click the locations tab.
Yeah, and I just
click the locations tab.
I want to put this out there. A lot of you message us for specialists. We said this last week, or the week before, specialist and psychiatrist. We do not have any in our franchise.
No specialists. We have no specialists in the franchise. We're all general practitioners, chiropractors, working together, some physical therapists, occupational therapists, to get your claim accepted and give you the therapy you need to get better. We refer out to specialists after your claim is approved.
Yes.
Somebody was really angry because we didn't have psychiatrists. Well, we just don't. It's like I was watching The Founder today, right? The Founder is about McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, well, people like fried chicken. And Ray Kroc said, well, then they should go someplace that serves fried chicken. Right. So we don't serve psychiatrists here, okay? Don't be mad. We are who we are and what we are. We're not what we're not, all right? So we're not a bunch of specialists. Our specialty is getting cases accepted. That's why you come to us.
Unless you have like a broken limb, when you leave the ER and they give you your consultation notes and it says, go see whatever specialist, please find an OWCP doctor first.
Yeah, the specialists don't want your case until it's accepted. Yeah. They're not writing the narrative. Okay, so, they're on the list of doctors that are going to get your claim denied.
Yeah, and then, again, I'm just getting phone calls asking for locations. It says it on my voicemail when you call the 877 number, and if I can't get to the phone, it says it in the text message I send out. And there's no need for anybody to use bad words at me because we don't have a location somewhere. We are working on it.
Yeah, really sorry. We don't have one. We want offices everywhere, okay? Yeah. But you don't know what it takes to get a doctor to say yes to this thing. It's a battle, okay?
It is.
And look, why would you want a doctor who I had to fight to join this group? I mean, how much help are they going to be? So we've got 50 plus doctors right now in 25 states or whatever. A new one just came on, by the way, in Homestead, Florida.
Yep. Homestead, Florida. We have a new DOL doctor. So take a look at the website. It's all on there.
Yeah.
Well, guys, with that said.
Can I make a correction?
Yes.
Just want to make a correction on that COP for salary rule. I'll just read what's here so I don't screw it up. I knew I wanted to say it came out wrong, but in the COP case, the board has held that if the date of the 30-day period in which to file the notice of injury would have expired was a Saturday, the time for filing a notice of injury would not expire until the next business day, which would be a Monday.
So that I was a little confused about the rule too. Yes. So what he's saying is if you're day 30, because you have 30 days to report your CA1 so that you can have COP. If day 30 is on the weekend, they'll give you till Monday. So that was good.
So does this go for USPS
It's
and
everybody.
AFGE?
It's everybody federal.
There you go,
Now,
guys.
all
It's
federal.
OWCP. It doesn't matter what agency it is.
All right, guys. Well, we
Yeah.
will see you next week again. Thank you, Ron and Lindsay, for coming
Thank you
by.
for having me, guys.
And don't forget, if you want us to come out to your local or your state convention or national convention, email me.
Yeah.
All the information's on our post on Wednesday night. OWCP
I'd love the
chats.
opportunity to say yes to you.
So we'll see you guys again next week.
All right, good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
It's like all these buttons.